You've spent your whole life chasing a number that was never real. And the closer you get, the further it moves. I'm going to show you where this feeling comes from. But first, there's something almost nobody stops to notice. The problem was never that you don't have enough. The problem is nobody ever taught you what enough means. This is going to take a while to unpack properly, and it's worth doing right. Stay with me to the end, because the answer isn't the one you're expecting. Think about the last time you accomplished something that mattered. A goal, a promotion, a number on the scale, a number in your account. How long did that feeling of enough actually last? A day? An hour? For most people, not even that. And that's still the easy part to understand. Here's the hard part. You're not missing one specific thing. You're missing a state that was never defined. Nobody ever told you, at any point, what enough looked like. You were only ever told you hadn't gotten there yet. This has a name, and it's an ugly one. It's called a moving target. Here's what that actually looked like in practice. You bring home a drawing, a good grade, a goal scored in some Saturday game. And the question waiting for you isn't how did that feel? It's what's next. Not cruel, not even intentional most of the time. Just quietly, consistently, redirecting your worth toward the next thing on the list. When you were a kid, praise almost never came for who you were. It came for what you did. Good grades, good behavior, a clean plate at the end of dinner. Every bit of approval came stapled to a finished task. And the strange part is nobody had to force you to keep doing this afterward. You learned on your own to trade being for doing. You learned that standing still, with nothing to show, left an uncomfortable silence in the room. And silence, to a kid, feels a lot like rejection. This isn't an exaggeration, and it isn't self-pity. It's just how most of us learned this, without meaning to. Approval and performance came as a package deal. Now take that mechanism and run it for 20, 30 years. It never switches itself off. It just changes clothes over time. It becomes a job title. It becomes your body. It becomes the number in your bank account. Let's make the job title version specific for a second. Look at where you spend most of your waking hours. At work, the finish line moves every single review cycle. You hit this year's target, and next year's number is already higher before you've even celebrated. Nobody designed that system to make you feel complete. They designed it to keep you moving. Ask anyone who finally got the title they wanted for a decade. Most of them will tell you the relief lasted about a weekend. And it doesn't stop at your job either. It shows up in how you love people too. You perform for affection without noticing you're doing it. Over-explaining, over-delivering, turning a simple favor into proof you deserve to be here. Somewhere along the way, being loved quietly, for nothing, started to feel unsafe. And the people who love you most are often the ones you trust least with your unfinished self. Picture an ordinary Thursday night. 9 o'clock, phone in hand, not even remembering why you opened the app. You see an organized life, a body in shape, a trip you never took. And for a second, you feel like you're falling behind again. But that comparison isn't the cause of the problem. It's just fuel thrown onto an engine that was already running long before. And the disappointment doesn't stop even when you actually win. Some people reach the exact thing they spent their whole life chasing. A net worth that once seemed impossible. Recognition that seemed like it would finally silence every doubt. And months later, the same restlessness knocks on the door again, wearing a different outfit. This isn't only about money either. Someone spends 3 years chasing a body they finally get. Someone spends a decade chasing a level of skill critics finally admit is remarkable. The scale is different. The ending is exactly the same, a short high. Then the machine resets to 0 and starts counting again. Ask them how long the satisfaction lasted, and most will tell you the honest number. Less than a month. Money makes this even easier to see if you want proof for yourself. You'll buy the thing you'd been saving for. The car, the watch, the house with the extra room. For about 2 weeks it feels like proof. Then it quietly becomes just another object in the house, and the meter is already asking what's next. You're probably thinking this is just healthy ambition. I used to think that too. Healthy ambition has a finish line. It lets you rest once you cross it. What you're carrying doesn't let you rest afterward. It's already pointing at the next mark before you've even celebrated this one. Let me ask you something, and don't answer too fast. When was the last time you hit a goal and actually felt enough for more than one day? Really sit with that before you keep going. Write it in the comments. I go through every single one, and it's the kind of answer that stays with me for days. And now here's the part almost nobody tells you. You're not missing another win. You're missing the end of needing one. Those are completely different things. What if the problem was never that you hadn't done enough? What if enough was never a real place to arrive at? not the way you were taught to measure it. Except that's not good news. It's actually worse than it sounds. Because it means you could achieve everything on your list and still wake up tomorrow feeling the exact same emptiness. This has already happened to people you deeply admire, and it'll keep happening until someone decides to stop running after the number. And this isn't just a thought you have during the day. It's the reason you replay the day at midnight instead of sleeping, reviewing every conversation, every task left undone, looking for the one moment that finally proves you fell short again. That's not reflection. That's the meter running, even in the dark. There's a difference most people never learn to see. What you do and who you are got fused together so early, you stop noticing the seam. A bad quarter at work started to feel like a character flaw instead of just a bad quarter. A missed goal started to feel like proof instead of just a missed goal. That seam runs so deep, most people spend their entire adult life without ever finding it. This is also where perfectionism actually comes from. It's not caring too much about quality. It's using flawlessness as one more attempt to finally silence the meter for good. And it never works, because the meter was never built to be silenced by more effort. Only by a decision. And here's the part that surprises people most. The people who feel this hardest are rarely the ones falling behind. They're usually the ones everyone else already considers successful. Because the better you get at performing for approval, the better the machine runs. And the quieter your own voice gets underneath it. It's why the applause never quite lands the way they hoped it would. From here, there are two ways out. The first is to keep raising the bar forever, one rung after another, never once declaring victory. You already know exactly what that path looks like, because you're on it right now. It doesn't crash. It doesn't obviously fail. It just quietly costs you every ordinary Tuesday you could have actually enjoyed. The second is the one almost nobody ever teaches you to consider. The second way out is simple to describe and hard to do. It's a decision. You make it on an ordinary day with nobody validating it. You decide that what you already did today is enough. Not because you hit a mark, because you chose that it's enough. And if you've made it this far listening, some part of you already knew which one you keep choosing. And here's an uncomfortable detail hiding inside videos exactly like this one. Most self-improvement content sells you a bigger version of the same meter. New goal, new habit, new metric to fall short of by Sunday. It's the machine, wearing a helpful voice. I'm not immune to that either. I just decided the goal of this one is different. Not to give you a new number, but to help you stop needing one. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Nobody is going to tell you when you're enough. There's no confirmation email. There's no scoreboard that lights up at the end. The only way to feel like it's enough is to decide, with zero proof, that it already is. This isn't low self-esteem. It's an accounting problem that was never designed to balance. This isn't an invitation to stop growing. It's an invitation to stop using lack as fuel. You can keep trying new things without carrying that sense of debt every single second. The difference isn't in what you do. It's in where the drive to do it comes from. That number you've been chasing your whole life, it was never real. It's never going to be real. The day you stop waiting for it to show up changes everything. That's the same day this feeling of not enough finally goes quiet. Nothing you do today has to earn you the right to feel okay tonight. You don't owe today's rest to yesterday's output. You get to just be a person tonight, not a project. You did enough today. You did enough this week. You did enough by still being someone who keeps trying, and that alone is rarer than it sounds. No, you don't need one more number to prove that. If this hit something in you, drop a like right now. That's what pushes this video to whoever needs to hear it today. If you want more of these with me, subscribe. There's a new one like this every week. And if this one didn't land for you, that's okay too. Thanks for staying till the end.